Hey, guys. Welcome back to Khemistry Podcast. You have Lady D, your girl Mo Millie, and Kilo. And today we have a very, very, very interesting topic. And so we have a special guest here, Mr. Brian Blackmore. He's going to be talking about credit.
The credit guru.
Yes. Credit guru.
I'm ready.
You ready?
You ready? I'm always ready.
Okay. Stay ready. So I guess we're going to skip any other thing. We're going to go straight on into it because credit is very important. And I think that's one thing that our community needs to learn more of. And we need to get the tricks in the trade. And I'm sure he is well versed in this.
So, Brian, tell us exactly what a credit specialist does.
Basically, we do all things credit, assist with the removal of like bad history. You got some repossessions and broken leases and collection accounts. We assist with the removal of those. And the biggest and the most major part we do is rebuilding credit, breaking it down, starting it back up, and getting your scores increased so you can do the things you want to do.
Awesome.
So is credit better than cash?
Oh, for sure. Cash run out at some point.
Yes, it does.
Right, and cash don't bring you no rewards, right?
It sure doesn't.
Zero
So
rewards.
give us a little bit of your background on how you came into being a credit guru. That's a credit specialist.
I am a forensic banker by trade. So
Okay.
Awesome.
I was a traveling contractor, so I opened up banks, I shut them down. I've been in finance since 2007.
Okay.
So I do all the background as far as, how people do the things they do and why they do the things they do from a banking and financial perspective.
Oh, okay.
So it just kind of rolled over into credit and
you were just naturally a money man.
Naturally ready, yeah.
Is this something that you studied for?
No, actually, I was a person, my credit was awful at a point. And I would just remember like begging like lenders, like, hey, give me a chance type, tote the note. And they taking me to the back. Like, I remember just going to the back. My credit, I'll pull my credit. Let me show you what you qualify for.
Yeah, I know.
And we literally on a golf cart. I'm like, man, why we on the golf cart?
Nowhere. I want this.
Yeah, I'm passing by all the cars I want, I'm like, and then I'm realizing, like, man, this is what your score can get you.
Right.
So what is the highest credit score you can have?
850.
850 is the highest?
850 is the highest.
No such thing as 9.
No such thing.
No.
Oh, okay.
Those are Vantage scores.
So let's talk about something, because I know when we bought our house in 2005, and we actually bought our house, and we were scared, because we heard all the tactics of, when you go to close and you have to have $10,000, and I mean we literally changed our living arrangements to save thousands of dollars because we were told that, closing would be pushed back and they're going to talk about this on your credit and then that on your credit. But in actuality, and I know things have totally changed, because I think back then our credit scores was like 580, honestly. Mm-hmm. And we were like 22 and 21 when we bought our house. And it wasn't that we had bad credit, but we had no credit. So can you expound a little bit on that? Because, I mean, we still closed on our house. And honestly, I tell everybody we put $5 down on our house because we put $500 earnest money. And back in 2005, they had open and closing calls and first-time home buyers. And I work for the state, so they gave us a little assistance. So that when we went to close, they wanted to ask me about Bally's, because I signed up for Bally's because my husband, which was my boyfriend at the time, worked there, and I wanted to go work out and show out a little bit, and they had those contracts and I didn't stick to it, and so I told God, I'm like, I don't want to go backwards and forward, and they just needed to speak with Bally's, and we closed on our house, we got our keys, and they sent us a check back for $495, so we put $5 down on our home back in 2005. But again, the thing is that it's not that we had bad credit, we just didn't have, we had little credit, we had no credit, basically.
So tell the people how.
Expound a little bit.
Yeah, expound on what is the difference between having credit and no credit, because a lot of people don't understand that you have to have some type of revolving credit and all those different things to make you.
Or not just revolving credit, you need a different
credit.
array of credit.
Oh, for sure. I think you need seven items at minimum.
Okay.
And I always recommend out of those 7 items, you have 5 credit cards. 1 secured card ain't gonna do it. 2 cards ain't gonna do it. You need really 5. And you just got to be disciplined enough in order to use them and pay them back, pay them off.
Right.
There's no point. And you get the whole 30% thing, and they always say, use 30% of the. No, there's really no benefit to rolling over a balance. There's absolutely zero benefit. Mm-hmm. There's no 30% rule.
Pay it off.
Yeah, pay it off. If you pay it off, use it and pay it off.
Exactly. So is no credit worse than bad credit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
I learned that the hard way.
essentially the same. If you have no track record, I can't give you anything. If
I can't trust you.
I can't trust you.
I don't see nothing that you paid for.
I've seen nothing. If you haven't paid anybody back their money, why do I feel comfortable giving you mine?
Exactly.
Right.
So what about the trade lines and stuff like that?
Oh, I hate trade lines. Like,
So that's not good to get. That's not good to have trade lines.
yeah, you're a kid. You got some kids. You add them to your credit. You using them as they're using you, piggybacking off you, their parent. You can't be 30 plus with some authorized user or trade line,
right?
Because the bureaus look at your age and say, why don't you have your own credit?
Right.
So I did that for my oldest son. I did that just reading out of a group one time. And I put him on, I believe it was a Walmart credit card. And literally, once he graduated high school, his credit score was like 600 and something, which is not the best, but he had a little bit of credit.
Yes.
So he did have some credit. So I learned to put my kids, like you said, when they're in school, when they're in high school, I learned to put them. Now, parents, that's if you pay your bills, because you don't want to hurt their credit.
Exactly.
So the fact that I know that I was going to pay my bill, I actually put him on there. He had a form of credit already once he graduated high school.
Absolutely.
Because you know what I've learned? I've learned that black people, and I don't mean to make this the race thing, black people believe in getting it at the mud, started from the bottom, then we girl. That is not so. We can we can add our children as authorized users as young as
Low as 13.
Exactly. Yeah. You can add your children to your credit cards as low as 13 if you're a responsible parent. And then you can start them with good credit. When they graduate from high school and they're 18 years old and they're ready to go do and buy and asking you for all this stuff, they'll have credit to go out and do it on their own.
Now, I tell you, I didn't never give him the card, though. But he was authorized.
You would never get my card with my name on it.
That card is in my drawer. And matter of fact, he's still on those particular cards.
Yeah.
But again, it just gave them a little step up.
Do you know that I was 30-something years old when somebody taught me that?
Wow.
I was literally probably about 35 years old when someone actually took the time out to sit down and talk to me about credit.
That's the
and
difference.
for me to be interested in it and actually apply it to my life.
Wow.
Can we go? Can we go
that's
back?
That's childish, but that's the truth. You know what I'm saying?
It's real.
Can we go back to the 5? Because you said a good amount of credit cards is 5. So I think that sometimes that we kind of overdo it.
Yeah, we do.
Because you know what? I'll tell you, I'm a stickler for finances, but even sticklers get caught up because, like you said, the purpose is right is not to carry revolving balance, which is sometimes the information that's spread across. But sometimes life hits you and, you may forget. You gotta live, it's a lot to keep up with 11, 12, and 15 credit cards.
It is.
And then you have to use those credit cards. You don't want them closed out. So, I mean, I wish that I would have stayed somewhere along the line of 5 cards. I think that's good information for you to know because 5 lines of credit is sufficient amount of credit because ain't no way we can use 11 credit cards and stay up under, keep paying all those cards off like that,
Agreed.
So
chasing your tail.
Pretty much.
That's essentially what you end up doing. It's like, in a lot of those cards, like there's not a lot of people that have 11, 12 major credit cards.
Right.
They got, all these from Dick's Sporting Goods. They got J.C. Penney.
Yeah,
don't even go there.
I have the stuff that I like to shop at.
Okay, tell me this. My friend has 20 credit cards. What should he do?
Well, I'm not a fan of closing them out once you got them. You got to
once you got them, you stuck with them.
And if they, at the end of the day, if they're going to close eventually, if you don't use them after some time,
exactly.
It's not a 6-month thing.
Oh, he uses them.
There's nothing he can do besides keep them
just pay them.
Keep
so
them
is that a
revolving.
bad thing? When, like, say for instance, I had a credit card and they just closed it because my old Navy card. I'll just tell you because I don't care about that. My old Navy card, they closed it because I didn't use my old Navy card. So is that a bad thing that they closed it?
It is because you're knowing your list of credit history. So those are good accounts that they're closing. So you take a hit for that.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't use it. I mean, it benefited me not having a bill to pay. So I'm like, it wasn't good for y'all, but it was delicious for me.
Well, why did you get it, Kilo?
Because I was using it at that point, but my kid is like, I'm like, kid, you want to go to Old Navy? She like, nah, ma, I want to go to Dillard's or I want to go to like Bloomies or whatever. She ain't checking for Old Navy, so I don't use that card. You know?
Which bring up the important part of what he said. We have a lot of frivolous credit cards, not Navy, Federal, Capital One, Barclay, which is one of my favorite. We have a lot of store department credit cards, which is kind of like,
so is that bad?
Pointless.
Yeah. I'm not ever getting a credit card I can't use if my lights are about to get turned off.
For sure.
But listen, now the stores have gotten smart. That's like my dealers, my Macy's. So if you have good credit with them, then they changed over to American Express.
But you got to work your way up to it because I'm at what is it, elite, but I am not at Visa or American Express yet.
True.
And I spent a couple of $1,000, so I'm trying to figure out like what's next.
Now, my advice to people: if you can't play the credit card game, don't even start in. Honestly,
because it can get into it can become a rat race.
And I, as somebody that is a stickler about finances, have gotten caught up. You know what I'm saying? Like you may like say for instance, okay, I'm gonna use my card. I got the cash right here. I'm gonna use my card on this cruise, or I'm gonna use my card to get this home project done, and then you just start dipping in the cash. And, I mean, you really, really, really have to be very, very, very disciplined when it comes to credit, or you get caught up, right?
Yeah, I don't use cash for anything. I haven't used cash in 10 years.
Really? So what do you do?
So you just charge your credit card?
Everything goes on credit. But
And you're disciplined.
I'm disciplined enough. I've accumulated over 1 million points.
See?
I can go anywhere in the world for free.
See?
Yeah.
I don't use. I mean, I have to get in my son's game sometime. I have to go stop
When
and get
you said you had 1 million points, I looked down at you to see what you was wearing. As Black people, we think about that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So when
you say points?
I looked at you.
Points?
I was like, you
Rewards.
Yeah,
rewards. Like for I told Kiki this. I told Kiki this last week. I told her when you use your debit card, it's no benefit. When you use cash, you don't get anything back from that. But if you use your Chase Rewards card, they're gonna give you 5% cash back for that restaurant. They're gonna give you 8%
don't
cash back on use your credit cards.
No.
Chase
debit
is
card.
not only debit, baby. I got a Chase credit card. They make credit cards there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I don't bank with Chase.
I like to go one step further. Like the outside of points and outside of all the other stuff, the most important part about a debit card and why you should always use credit is security. Mm-hmm. How many times have you had your bank account hacked? It take them about 3, 4, 5 weeks to get it resolved.
Yeah,
so
for
what
sure.
if my rent was due? What if my car note was due? What if all this stuff is due? I can't get my money back.
Right.
With a credit card, you make one call, take you 10 minutes, they can get you all your money back, cancel that card, and send you a new one.
I have a question though, Brian, but what about those companies? And I think it's a catch-22 because they know the game. It's some companies that will not let you pay for your items using a credit card.
I don't do what I'm not going to pay for. I'm
not going to deal with
no.
Okay.
I'm not paying cash.
Because there are, I really wanted you to mention, because there are companies like Barclay and Navy Federal, with your credit card, they actually give you checks. So I know that you can send off a check because it's still off your credit card. Not all credit card companies do that, but I know like Santander, for one, you can't pay your card note with the credit card.
Right.
And I'm like, why would you not accept that as a form of payment? To me, I don't get that.
Yeah, what is it? Explain that. You can't pay credit with credit. Explain that.
Well, the way it is, because you can ultimately try to reverse it. So a lot of companies try to avoid you being able to reverse it. That's why it's a lot of check by. It's the routing and account number set up. Everything has to be paid routing and account number.
Right.
You can't really backtrack and cancel that. If I pay you with credit, I'm like, no, I didn't do that. Mm-hmm. Let me reverse my charge, and you didn't drove my car for 30 additional days when you didn't pay me. Mm-hmm. So everybody's going to need routing and account number because I get my money right then.
Exactly.
And see, it backs up to what you said about the security. Because one thing about that credit card, as soon as that transaction, they'll block it.
Right.
They'll block it, or they'll send you an email saying, "Hey, did you do this?"
Yeah. During Christmas time, I'm during Christmas time. You slide in your car, and I got to, at my peak because I have one child. I have a one child problem. I'm gonna go by the mall. I don't care what no credit consultants say. Okay. And when I get rich, you can consult me then because that's when I'm gonna need the real help. Yeah. But I was swiping my card, and all of a sudden, it was getting declined, and I was like, baby, if I ain't got nothing else, I got some money, So I called. I called them first before I checked my email, and all I wanted to know is if that was me. That's it. So that's kind of like the security part of having a credit. Well, my Chase bank card will do that.
Yeah, my bank does.
But it took it to be hacked twice for them to do that.
They understand spending habits too. Banks are smart. They understand spending habits, and if you're doing things that are not common and customary to what you've always done, they'll flag it. They like, no, this don't seem.
I don't know why it was flagging me because I swipe my card all the time for those same things.
Well, when I went out the country to Germany, I literally had to let them know.
You had to call forward and let them know.
I had to let them know that I was out of the country because they know, like you said, they're smart. They know where you typically spend at, and so that throws a red flag. Why is your card being used over in Germany? So we want to bring up security cards. Mm-hmm. I know that's the baby step.
For sure. The
baby step. But it's kind of like a savings account, right?
It's the beginning step for everyone that doesn't have the ability to get unsecured. And what I love about security cards, I always said this. I said, you know what? You're going to buy the Jordans anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to spend the $300 anyway. Get the security card first. Mm-hmm. Go buy those same Jordans with the same money that you was gonna buy them to begin with,
And pay yourself back.
And pay yourself back. And then you just open up a line of credit and you got the Jordan all at the same time.
Yeah, you're right.
So you won.
You won both ways.
Yeah,
You're
you
right.
won.
It's both ways.
My son he attends University of Houston right now. This is my middle son, and you know, he's so financial savvy. I mean, he's serious about his credit. He's serious about everything. But he was smart enough out the gate, and he's just 20. He's 20 now, but he opened up various lines of credit, and he said, "Mama," he called me. He's like, you know, he said, "I want to take out this loan," and he said, "It's basically, you know, I'm just getting it, and I'm just paying myself back or whatever to help build my credit." Sure. And I will tell you guys this, because at first I was like, "No, Ashton," you know, because I sorry, I always worry about, you know, I don't want them to get caught up, you know, but that actually helped him because he has multiple scholarships that he applied for and won for his college career, and so one wasn't paying until a certain time, and so University of Houston was like, "Hey, I need this payment." Sure. And because he had various lines of credit, because at first he called me, he said, "Mom, I need X amount of dollars." And so I'm in mama mode, because when my kid does the part, I need to do my part. So I'm in mama mode. I'm trying to make things happen. But before 5 o'clock, I'm at work. He called. He said, "Mom, I got it taken care of." I'm like, "What happened?" He said, "I just applied for a line of credit." He said, "And because I had various lines of credit, they gave it to me." And so the scholarship just backed it right back up. So once he got the scholarship, he put it back in, and that just helped. You know,
he's a smart guy.
Smart kid.
But he's a Virgo, so you couldn't expect greatness from him.
Oh my gosh!
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that is definitely what it is. He's
I
a
like
smart
the credit
kid
to
because he's a Virgo.
that when you know better, you do a little better. And so our generation,
exactly.
we weren't really taught about credit
we
out the
raised
gate.
our kids better.
For sure.
I've been talking to my
Getting
kids
out the
about
mud, I would kill my kids for saying that. We had to get it.
And not necessarily
and they walk around
that.
aggravating me like that. Well, my nephew lives with me, so he goes, "Annie, I had to get it out the mud." I said, "You never gotten shit out of no mud, and you won't ever get it out. As long as I'm your auntie, you'll never get anything out of the mud."
And
so,
not just leaving them to getting out the mud, it's just about communication. I've been talking to my kids about finances since they were little bitty. I literally started talking to them about lines of credit, paying their bills on
being
time.
Responsible, being
like literally,
citizen.
because these are things that just wasn't taught to us. You know, we weren't taught about.
Our mama didn't have good credit. Half our mama so dope, they did whatever they had to do to make it to the next.
But when you learn better, you do better. Because the thing about it is when if I with bad credit and you're with good credit and you go and buy the same car that I buy, I got the bad credit, I'm going to pay 3 times as much for this car than the person with the good credit. And to me, that's what keep our community down, because we're not as knowledgeable in that.
And we don't share our information. Like for this is a beautiful thing that you're doing here. You've decided to share your gift with other people. We don't have that a lot in our community, and if we do have it, we're so used to not having it, we don't pay attention to it.
Oh, for sure. Does
that make sense to you?
I get that a whole lot. I get that a whole lot. You know, in the way that it's presented on social media, I throw it out there, and people they just scroll on by it. And I'm like, listen, we're in the wealth gap is over $10 trillion.
Yes, indeed.
The wealth gap is widening.
Yes,
we'll never catch up in our lifetime. Your kids, their kids,
exactly.
It's basically flat out probably over. The wealth gap is going to continue to widen because people are really not paying attention.
They're not paying attention.
Things are just kind of passing them by, and things are just getting out of hand to the point where we don't own nothing. We ain't trying to own nothing. And our credit is bad. We have no financial education at all.
So I want to say something, Brian. I seen a meme, I'm sorry, and it says taxes for people that know the rules. And so to me, that's credit as well. These people, they're out here playing the game, and I won't put it to a specific race or anything, but they know a lot that we are not privy to. And it's all about researching and understanding. And so we want to bring things out. So say, for instance, we got somebody that has totally just, like you said, at one point in time, you had horrible credit. And you don't have that anymore. Right. So where do we start because I didn't have good credit, I didn't build it up, and I didn't tanked it. You know, I say I didn't tank it, but I didn't tank it. But, you know, because that's another topic I want to bring about when you're married, you know, that whatever your spouse does affect your credit as well. Sure. So when these things have happened and you're in that bottom of the barrel again, where does one start to rebuild their credit? What's the process?
I think a lot of it is starting to, rebuild, because at the end of the day, everybody has negative things. A lot of people do. But the first part of it is like rebuilding it, getting the secure cards. Even though a lot of people are against them, getting secure cards, getting their self-lender, there's Credit Strong. There's so many secure loans you can get as well. It's like a savings account. You paying yourself back. They give you money. You put it in. They give it back at the end of the year. So it's like I treat it like a little savings account, put it in there, get it back at the end of the year. but you're building credit all at the same time. So a lot of that is just simply rebuilding. 7 accounts is minimum. You really need more, but I always say 7 has to be the minimum. And just getting in there and rebuilding and understanding that I might have to do some things I necessarily don't want to do.
All right.
One of my best friends says, when we were younger, and I won't ever lie to you. I'm the friend that goes out and says, well, we drinking. Hey, do y'all want to ball or not? I'm not finna sit here. Yeah. I'm gonna spend $300 at brunch and stuff like that. It's stupid, but that's what I do. So, but one of my friends says, she told me this when I was really young. She says, I live like this. I'm like, well, you don't never buy you nothing. You don't never. I mean, if you died today, you gonna look like that when you die. You know, we think like that. But she said, I live like this today, so I can live like nobody else tomorrow. And I think she got that from Dave Ramsey or somebody. Sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. It's a sacrifice.
So what is the process if you want to clean your credit? Like sometimes you have what is it? Yeah, like your debt, the ratio is.
Your income.
Huh?
Your
debt to income ratio is horrible.
With her credit score.
So, what is the process of clearing your credit? Now we have a home. You know, we just bought our first home 3 years ago, and it's like I don't know if like when people pull our credit or some. I mean, we ain't bought none. I like my cars and stuff like that cash. Is that a bad thing that we have, like? But I mean, like these, like high end cars. You know what I'm saying?
Don't matter.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Still bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, I don't never want to pay cash.
Cause you know, like again, it's no benefit.
None.
So what do you prefer to do? Do you prefer to lease cars?
I pay cash for everything.
No, you can
furniture, refrigerators, whatever.
I'm just not paying cash. I'm just saying for me, I'm never ever gonna use cash for anything. I'm gonna borrow your money, pay you back at a very small interest rate, and keep my cash.
That's the thing.
That's
but
a smart guy.
Yeah, like that's if your credit is there to purchase. Because see, like me and my husband ran into the debt to income ratio stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and with our house, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's up there. If you got $400,000 here, then you try to go get a $50,000 to $80,000 car. They're not gonna give it to you.
But I think it's something very important that he said. He said, I'm going to borrow their money, pay very little on it, because why? You're in a good standing point. So act your way.
So you wait.
You act your credit score. You act your credit score. Because
see, we
a
do
lot
too
of people
much.
go out here and get these expensive cars, and then you know your credit score is not there. I would rather work on my credit and then get that credit score down, because these people are getting these cars on, you know, like I said, when your credit score is bad, we're paying more. So if you know your credit score is bad, buy you a little old cash car, build your credit. A lot of people don't want to sacrifice today to live better tomorrow, and that's the problem. That is the problem, and that's why we are steady, and that's why the wealth gap is going to continue to grow.
Sure.
Because our mentality is off.
We refuse. We want to have the latest. We want to have the greatest.
You want to buy Jordans. You want like these broke kids.
Oh, God.
Like I just said about my daughter.
Don't
you want to
get
go to
me
Bloomie's. Her mind don't think Old Navy. Her mind think Bloomie's. So in her mind, she knows it's some money somewhere.
Oh, somewhere.
But that's because I'm not acting my wage. So I'm gonna start acting like a $30,000 maker. I'm gonna start acting like a minimum wager and see if that'll bring her down a little bit.
Right. You know what? Everybody raised their kids different. I didn't raise my kids materialistically, and
I raised them both ways.
I didn't raise them, but you know I got one though, right?
You do.
Even though I didn't raise her that way, I have a daughter that she belongs to her. But my boys are they're not into all this thing. But one thing I did do is I told them I'd rather you have experiences. So what I started doing early is traveling with them. Before I put it in material things, I started taking them to places and doing things. But I want to say, so
we just live like we're rich. So she goes, "Mama, you rich?" And I go, "No, I'm broke." She said, "Well, Mama, just speak it, baby. You stop spending it, and I can speak." I'm checking my account, and I'm in reality that we are not rich. And she looking at how we living, and she's going, "Mama, we rich," and I'm going, "No, we're not." She said, "Well, speak it, Mama. You know."
So I have a question. What is the average amount of time?
That it take, yeah.
And I know it's probably no specific time for somebody credit score
just
to
average,
improve,
though.
but what is the average?
Yeah.
Because in my line of work, we hate to give time frames, because if you tell a person, hey, those results will be back in 30 days, they calling.
I'm sure in your line of work too.
Right. So what is an average, just an average, that you can expect improvements in your credit score?
Well, I think you get improvements like in the first 30 to 45 days.
Okay.
It's just a matter of, I think, I've never met a person that's called me that needs my services that doesn't need 6 months.
Right.
Some people need 8. Some people need a year. It just kind of goes on, just depending on, because people show up with just astronomical amount of debt. Like they let 2 cars go back, they let 2 chargers go back. They're just out here just letting life happen, living life, and
or
going.
life just happening.
Yeah.
You know, some people deal with tragedy and turmoil all the time. So they steady getting stuff losing, Their mentality is not. You know, that don't mean they have the greatest mentality. They're getting it and lose. But some people go through that all the time where something happens. Somebody, their husband left them, their baby daddy left them. So you get buying stuff and you losing. You buying stuff and lose. They never think to get credit for themselves. What would you say to a person like that?
Not getting credit for themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's the major problem.
Exactly.
But a lot of that is you also understanding that most people are just out here making bad decisions. Period. Because a lot of people are trained. Like I've had clients call me every day of the week. I'm gonna get a call that says, "Oh, I got to call my credit. I'm letting it go back." I'm like, "Why?" Well, the dealership wouldn't fix it. I'm like, "Well, you drove it. Like,
fix it."
We are trained to think that a dealership
Somebody
is
owes
supposed
something.
to keep up with the maintenance on the car we drive and every single day. It's the weirdest thing. And they letting them go back to go get another one, and it's a repeated cycle. Then nothing I can do with that. And I'm speaking
Responsibility.
Accountability is important.
Accountability. You are so right.
If you had a person that was buying a car and they wanted to use, they already had their stuff established and they wanted to buy it under their business name, how would you suggest they do that?
A lot of times when you're dealing with business, you get favorable rates sometimes. And also those things, the good thing about it is it doesn't count against your debt to income like we were talking about.
Right.
So a lot of times when you're going to buy different things, they don't pull the business out. Well, you got these debts. Well, it's paid for by the business. That is absolutely separate. It keeps everything separate, which is good.
Right.
And which another important thing to mention about that, if you're going to start going into that aspect, then you need to make sure that that's accountable to your business. You can't mix it in size, right?
Mix and mingle. No, we don't.
Can't
Never talk about that.
Yep.
Is there a benefit to buying something on your business credit versus buying it with your regular credit?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, especially if it's a business asset. I mean, I think you should always try to get it in your business name. At least, like I say, it cuts down on the amount of debt you have on your personal side.
Right.
You're not really getting hits on your business side. You can have many things you want on a business credit report. But if you have all those things listed on a personal credit, it brings your scores down because it's too much debt.
Oh, okay.
So there's no limitation when you're talking about a business.
Right.
You got personal. You know, you have to be very honest. The way that it's basically set up is you have to be in debt to have good credit. You just have to be in debt.
I was going to ask you that.
How do you get business credit, though?
Well, there's 2 ways. You can go the net 30 route. So a lot of people are on the net 30. So they go and get accounts with Staples and Office Max and Uline and all these other places in order to gain business accounts.
Right.
It's just, to me, it just takes too long.
Okay.
And I'm an advocate for using your personal credit as a guarantor. I've always done that. I've done it, and you only have to do it one time.
Tell us the quick way then.
Now,
if that's the way that's gonna take months and months, weeks, days, years.
Yeah.
Okay, so to give us some kind of knowledge on what to do to get business credit really quick.
This is what I did. So I had a relationship personally with American Express.
Okay.
Anybody knows me, I'm an advocate for American Express because American Express is the only place in the world.
Accepted.
It's world renowned.
Yep.
Yes,
so
it is.
when you go and you use your personal credit one time, all you gotta use it as a guarantor, which means if you do not pay me, this is going on your personal credit. That's fine because I know in my heart I'm disciplined enough in order to do what I'm going to do.
Right.
I used it one time. I can call American Express. I can open up. It don't matter. Whatever it is. Carpet cleaning tomorrow. I can open up BK carpet cleaning. I call American Express. Take me 2 minutes on the phone. Hey, I need a credit card. I just opened up BK carpet cleaning. And I'm about to do some big numbers.
Yeah.
And I need a credit. I need an American Express business card for that. Hey, only thing they're gonna ask me is how do you want that on the front of your car? You want BK carpet cleaning? You want BK Carpet Cleaner LLC? You want BK Carpet whatever? You just picking the name out at that point.
Yeah.
So it's about just you have to use it one time in order to establish yourself. Once you're established, I don't want the stamps and I don't want glue and I don't want to be ordering stuff from Uline. I don't want spirals and all that.
So the only thing that you're mentioning is that if you go the net 30 account way is that it takes years to build that.
Take a long time.
But a benefit to that is that if you're sued, and this is all up under your business credit, you don't have to use your personal. You're not guaranteed. You're not the guarantor toward your own personal credit. This is strictly against your business. So to me, that is a benefit. So if a person does have the time, I think that it's important to mention that if you have the time to build that business credit, that's the route that you should go. I mean, and then again, another thing that is important to mention is that not everybody have that personal credit score, which honestly, if you want to talk about business, you should be getting your personal credit score to where it should be.
I agree, and I think that we should flip it because most people want to start, their personal credit is awful. So they want to start building business credit. No,
it goes hand in hand.
Show personal first. It goes
exactly.
hand in hand.
There it
right,
is,
hand in
there.
hand.
It
That's
has
what I
to
was
go
waiting
hand
on.
in hand. You cannot, there is not a person in the world that has this excellent business credit and their credit score is poor.
Exactly. Because
it needs to be right on the same line.
And when you're an adult, who wants a poor credit score anyway? When you're an adult, fix your credit, people.
A lot of adults
get your
have
driver's license, get your credit together, buy you a home. You cannot own anything. You cannot not own something and be an adult. That's just not how life works.
Sure.
You have to own things. You have to have good credit. Those are things that you need to have be a productive citizen.
I agree.
So I think that for a lot of people, it's the fear of the unknown, or just the unknown, unknown altogether, not being educated, or the stigma that they just can't have it. So I think that topics like this is very important because it's simple things, and because of the internet, we have no excuse for not having knowledge. We have
because
zero
this man
excuse.
is posting every day. This man is posting all the time. He's not the only person. There's other people that we know personally that's posting, giving you jewels every day. It's up to you to pick them up. They cannot bring you to the water, open your mouth, pour it down your throat, go to your house, pull your credit, stop you from using your cash. They can't do that. You have to listen and follow the pathway that these type of people are setting up for you guys. That way you can win in life. You cannot win with no credit. You just can't.
Absolutely right.
So one thing that I want to talk about is those rules. I think that now not everybody has the time to go and study different laws, but it is so much knowledge out there. And see, I'm a people's person, so I talk to all kinds of people, and you just never know who you might run across. And I didn't even know there's certain cars that you buy you can use for tax write-off if they weigh a certain amount. It's just so many rules. So I think that it's important to stress to the people that to get knowledgeable about certain things, because we're missing out. It's people that's out there that have businesses that they're writing these things off. They're not even paying for these things because they getting tax write-off and they're paying their kids out of their businesses.
Sure.
And so it's so many rules. It's so many. So where's a good place to start?
But there's a lot of information on here, like you said. But a lot of it is just if you people just scroll through like social media, there's so many people out here talking about those things.
Yep.
And for instance, like I'm not buying anything that I can't write off.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is going to be a write off for me.
Mm-hmm.
And like you talked about, people write off cars, people buy trucks. You buy an SUV, you can write off the entire. If that SUV is $70,000, you write off the whole $70,000 on your taxes that year that you purchased.
Wow.
I never knew that.
Oh yeah, you can write off everything. But that's the thing that, you see people out here, you see Hispanics a lot of times, Caucasians, they be in these big trucks. They be lifted up, and they have fencing or
they have to weigh a
whatever they have
certain
on the side. They writing off all of it. It's just the best way to go. You understand that when you have a business, we pay taxes on the net. Everybody else pays taxes on the gross.
Yes, indeed.
It's just a way to keep more money in your pocket. You be able to keep that money to invest and do things of that nature.
So, Brian, can you tell us a little bit more about your specific business and your consulting fees? Just tell the people.
Okay. Basically, I train myself to be a financial educator. So I cover anything from taxes to credit to investments to mutual funds, stocks. I'll cross every line in order to get where we need to go.
Exactly.
Okay.
As far as fees, I always try to be the most affordable out here because I'm about volume. I'm gonna help the most people, and have them refer me out to whomever else, their cousins, their brothers, their sisters. But we charge a flat fee. It's $200 up front.
Okay.
And it's $100 a month.
Okay.
So I always say, if you need 6 months, you're talking about a $700 investment. $700 investment that will net you a to net you 6 figures in capital if you do it the right way. It's such a small investment. Like I say, but some people need longer. So even at the worst case, you had to go a year. Credit repair and credit restoration pays for itself because if you need credit work, there's not a person on this planet that don't have $1,000 worth of collection. If you need credit. If you need credit work, you're getting your money back, even if they get one thing removed, which most people get far more than that. But I'm just saying, in general, just to get one thing removed has paid for itself.
Right.
So it's a very small investment that nets you so much more going forward, and it's a lifetime.
Right.
Let
me tell you something. You say $100 a month, so let me insert this. So again, I told you we bought our house at a young age. So I think I was like 21. My husband was 22, somewhere around there. It was 2005. So we were real young, but I just knew that if we can pay all this money for an apartment, we can buy a house. And so I always had strong faith, and so I didn't know. I thought our credit was bad. So we paid a company for credit cleanup. You know how much we paid that company? $18.95. I'll never forget it. We didn't need to pay that company. We had no credit.
Oh, wow.
We had no credit. But you think that company didn't take our money? Oh, they took our money indeed. They took our money indeed. And we walked into that house. I like to tell everybody, God bless me with that house. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But we still did the work. We just had no credit. But we still just paid that company. And that was just off of the advice of people. You got to have this. You're going to have to do this. You need to do this. Yeah. At the advice of people. So I believe $200 up front and $100 a month is listen, we can eat that up. So it depends on where your determination lies. And credit is very important. And I say you rather pay at this end because you're going to pay at that end. Because if I walk into that dealership, I'll tell you. I walk into, and then that's another thing I want to mention too. Not just your credit score. You have to wheel and deal these people. Because I remember the year my husband went and bought a truck, and I think I don't know what our credit score was at that particular point. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. And they wanted him to put money down and all this kind of stuff. And my husband, being true to his nature, just okay. And I said no. I said, because one thing, we've been in our house for this many years. We haven't been late on our notes. We have, I literally looked at that manager in the eye, because he said, and then when I got through talking to that man, literally, and my husband sitting right there, he was ready to put the money down. And when I went and talked to that man, he said, well, let me go talk to the manager at the back. You want us to put $1,000 down for what? We've proved ourselves.
Yes. Sure.
You looking at a number. We've been in our house. I paid off cars. I did this. I did that.
And you know what? Another thing people don't understand is when your credit score is good, your insurance, your car insurance, all of those things go with that. These people out here with good credit are not paying $500 a month for car insurance. They're not paying $500 a month for the little stuff that you pay for every week. They're not paying that, people. Sure. So to sum everything up, Brian.
Tell us your business name and put all your information out there.
Tell the people what you can do for them, and just make sure that they can find you with no problem.
I'm Brian Blackmore. I'm on BK Credit Consultants. I'm on BK Credit Consultants on all social media handles. Just reach out to me. I think there's not another person out here that has put people in more houses, more cars, more lines of credit. I'm just good at what I do. I'm hands-on. Good. It's not one of those things where you kind of fend for yourself. I'm very hands-on. People call me for absolutely everything. My clients call me for everything. Before they make a purchase, they call. Before they do anything, they call to make sure it's a good idea. I'm very big on hand-holding, but I'm also big on accountability. So it's not going to be a sit back like magic show. Mm-hmm. I'm going to require you do your part. Right. And we're going to meet in the middle. My goal is to get everyone to the 700s, because once you get to the 700s, you got action.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to mention that you didn't just say credit, because earlier I heard that you say you do investment and stuff as well. Because some people are trying to infiltrate that market, but they don't know where to start.
For sure.
So.
For sure. And it's all about access to capital. People have big dreams and big plans, but the thing of it is, if you have no money, you're not getting off the ground. Mm-hmm. That's just the way that it is. No way. Credit opens up the door. Credit is the conversation starter.
Yes, it is.
If I have the ability in order to go get funds, there's people who come to you. They come to me all the time, because they know I have access to capital. So I get introduced to all the things like the restaurant situation and other situations I'm being placed in simply because they know that he may not have the cash. He can go get it.
He know how to get it.
I know how to access it.
And everybody need a person on their team that know how to get money. Right. I have a few people that I know for a fact. When I call their phone, I don't care what it is, they know how to get money. Sure. I don't care what it is, how much it is or whatever, they know how to get money. Everybody needs a person like that on their team.
That's one thing I tell my kids, keep your name good.
Keep
your name good. Keep it good.
We thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Make sure you
Absolutely.
keep your little schedule open, so just in case we want you to come back and educate the people again.
Anytime. I'm always available. Anytime.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Brian.